Hey everyone, this is Alex. Sorry it took so long to get out here. If you're watching live, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to move this down so you can see a little bit of my workstation that is still messy from the last time. Um, this is what we have so far. I sprayed some paint over it. Honestly, I think I may end up scrapping this because even though I put a lot of work into it, it allowed me to learn stuff. But what I did is I went to Taps Plastics. I picked up this, which is a nice thick block. This will allow me to do a two-part cast, which is basically what you're supposed to do. So I will trace onto this piece of plastic on the paper what I'm going to be cutting out. I will use this as a reference because the finger holes are large enough and the space from where the fingers go to the palm rest kind of doohickey thing is too short, especially for my hand. So when I hold this like this, this right here, it doesn't hit my palm at an appropriate place. So anyway, this is spray painted silver. I have some nice metallic spray paint. This might be a prop or something later. I don't know. Anyway, but I'm definitely going to use it as a reference so that I know what to fix when I'm making it on this. The other advantage of that is that this will make a lot more long-term cast. I don't have to seal it with anything before casting, and I can make many pieces with the same cast. If you didn't see my last video, this is half of the casting frame that I made. I know there's another name for it. I didn't look it up, sorry. But basically, it's a two-part frame. These go together. They are with these little furniture latches or chest latches. And so there's two of these, one on each side. They are reversed from each other, which in hindsight may have been a bad idea. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. I can always, if I really need to, unscrew it and screw it on a little differently. It doesn't fit together perfectly, but it fits together well enough that I should be able to get my casts pretty flawless with this. And again, I may make something better in the long run, but for now, this is what I need, so this is what I have. Anyway, so it's really sturdy. It does not move at all when it's clipped together. And it's nice. I'm not going to throw it, but I probably could, and it would still hold together with one throw, probably not two, but that's just because it's not something that's designed to be thrown. I picked this up. This is a brass rod that is going to be used to pin the pommel onto my knife. I don't remember if I brought that back in here. I may do some work on it tonight. But the important thing is I now also have hearing protection because doing any kind of Dremel work is very ear painful. So yeah, I picked up a few things. This is funny. So I was going to go to Harbor Freight. This is a Harbor Freight ad I was using. I tore up strips to use to make the paper parts of this. You can't see it because it's spray painted over. But anyway, and then I was going to Harbor Freight to do a job, and one of the things I was going to need was a grinder. And so I went to all the work of tearing out a coupon for a grinder from this ad, which I thought was recent, and then I look at the expiration date, and it's from 2013. So I have a 4-year-old ad for Harbor Freight that was somehow somewhere in my house. Decided that it probably wouldn't work. I ended up using an almost good enough coupon anyway. So it worked okay in the long run. But I just thought it was funny that I had an ad that was that old. Anyway, so we're going to get started here real quick. I'm going to do some cleanup work on the work area so that I have room to do what I'm planning on doing. And then I'm going to cut this tag off. Got this at Ace, this brass rod. It was $2.99, I think. So probably with tax, like maybe $3.30. I don't know. I'm not gonna do the math. But yeah, so I got this because on the knife that I'm making, one of the issues is that I can't find the layer that was just a little bit thinner than this. I think that I was gonna use for the rivets to hold the pommel on it, and now I'm thinking I may not need that. If I do any casting tonight, it's probably going to be the bolster for that knife, so that I can go ahead and finish that off, finish the woodwork, cut it so that it's the right length and thickness for the bolster, or from between the bolster and the pommel on that. But anyway, until then, if I do a bunch of work, it's mostly going to be prep work, and that involves fixing my green sand. If you watched my last video, I think I showed that the green sand probably isn't thick enough, or rather that it doesn't have enough of the bentonite clay. And I did about a 10-to-1 ratio, it wasn't precise by any means, but anyway, because I wasn't weighing it, and I only got about 2 bags of bentonite clay out of the 3 blended down fine enough. I'm going to see if there's a better way to do that, because if there is, that would be awesome for anyone else who's ever going to make green sand. Every video that I've seen, you have people, they are crushing it up either pestle and mortar style, or like I did using a blender. That is really, really a pain because A, it probably wreaks havoc on your blender, and B, it just means you have to do a lot of sifting. If I can get the bentonite clay to dissolve in water and make like a mud, then I'll just mix that into sand and see if that is sufficient and if I can get an even mixture with that. If I can do that, it means that anyone else watching this, if you ever have to make green sand, don't blend it, just add water. If it doesn't work, then you will be able to say, hey, that doesn't work, I'm not going to do that. Waste my time, not yours. So we'll go from there. I'm seeing how many of these scraps are still going to be usable for something else at some point. I don't know. If you watched the other video, I used a Dremel bit to cut this and then sanded it, so it could still cut me if I wasn't careful, but it is smooth enough. This is going to be the frame for the funnel that I pour through if I'm doing any kind of casting. I'm going to put my ear things away. This is my angle grinder. So I have a saw on here for cutting stone because I was cutting concrete. That's why I bought the hearing protection. But I bought the more expensive version, the $30 version of the angle grinder from Harbor Freight. It's the professional Chicago Electric, and it actually worked pretty well, especially for a $30 Harbor Freight tool. I was surprised at how well it cut through what I was cutting through. I was cutting through some old concrete. I may or may not edit this video and put pictures in it of the work that I was doing, but it was just a remodel job basically for a parking lot for a restaurant. But yeah, I do some stuff like that on the side. The other prep work that I might do is I have a bunch of copper wire down there that I need to strip. Some of the other copper that I got for casting is right here. This is about 3 pounds of copper, I would say. I think that's how much I paid for it. I don't know. I paid $6 a pound. I believe it came... So no, it was probably just over 2 pounds because I paid about $12 for it. So it's still 2 pounds of copper. If I mix that with... I don't know... a fifth of a pound, would that be 20%? Something like that. I don't know. A fifth is 20%. So 2/5 of a pound. Yeah, probably 2/5 of a pound, whatever that comes out to in aluminum, to try and make aluminum bronze. There's not a lot of information that I could find on aluminum bronze other than it is a pretty high strength and lighter alloy than bronze. I don't know if it will work good for like a knife because I know bronze knives and things, they used to be popular before steel, so maybe if I decide to do some anachronism, that would be kind of fun to have an aluminum bronze knife. But also I'm going to test and see if it's strong enough to use for like machining parts. So sorry you can't see my face from this close to the camera. I'm going to back off and do a little bit more cleaning real quick, and then let's get started. Cue time-lapse. If you wish there was a time-lapse feature for real life, please like and subscribe. If I need any of those, I'll keep the larger one. I will scrape the rest off into this bowl. Yeah, let's do this bowl. But yeah, since I'm burning gas and not wood or charcoal or anything, I don't need as much wood. I have found, however, that wood, not dust exactly, wood chips like this work really well if you're filling epoxy. So say you are you're making something out of wood and you have a gap or something and it's not the right size and you don't want to use pure epoxy because A, it's not as strong, and B, it looks tacky. You can take some of this fine wood chip, maybe even break it up a little bit more, or if you have sawdust or something, and make a paste with the epoxy and the wood. It'll add strength and it'll also give you a little bit more workable surface. The strength I say it's adding is like a cross-grain strength as opposed to just a solid epoxy block. And it'll help it to bond a little bit better to wood surfaces in my experience. If you have a different experience, share with me, because I'm always looking to learn from anyone that I can. Okay, so we have a nice clear area here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this bronze thing because I've already been washing my hands in it with some of the bentonite clay, and it looks dissolved pretty well at the bottom. There's a kind of a mix of sand and bentonite clay. I just got this at Walmart. This is more of the bentonite clay, and I'm actually probably going to start using this for my cats. I said that in the other video, I think, because it is cheaper than the stuff I was getting on Amazon, and it is as good in my experience. If you can look inside there and see, just regular bentonite cat litter. Let's see if we can get a better close-up of that. That's what it looks like. It's just little clay chips. I'm going to see how much of this I can dissolve in this water here. It's actually hissing when I put it in the water. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. See if I can dissolve it, because if I can, like I said, that will save a lot of time. This bubble's coming up. It's weird. Okay, I'm gonna get something and start mixing that. What's a good mixing apparatus? I don't really want to use my leather hammer. I know what we'll use. We'll use one of these aluminum rods I got to melt. The worst thing that could happen. I'm going to need this much water. It's a little dusty. I should have my dust mask on. I mean, it's not dusty now, but the dust from when I poured it, I think. Yeah, it might need to soak for quite a while. We'll see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this water out. I'm going to pour in enough bentonite clay to come to the top of the water and just let it soak for a really long time and see if I can get a good mush from it. If I can, I'll try mixing that into one of my buckets and see how it goes from there. Intensive and less work intensive. That's a lot of the time the way things go. You either have more work or more time involved. Either way, it's less cost involved, and that's good in my book. I did get a good sized yeah, I should have put my mask on again. I did get a good sized bucket of water over there in the corner. You can't see it. But for when I need water, because this is what I was using for quenching stuff in. And if I do any sanding or grinding, I always want to have, or cutting actually, I want to have some. Ah. I wonder if it's putting off any kind of gas or something. It shouldn't, it's just diatomaceous. Well, no, not diatomaceous. It is natural material, clay granules. It said some kind of earth on here, and when I looked it up, Fuller's Earth. So that's basically the same thing as bentonite clay. There's something else that Fuller's Earth can also be, but I don't think there's any reason it would be giving off gas. I don't think there's any acid in here or whatever. Make sure I get all my bubbles out. Okay, well, I'm going to set this to the side. We'll see if it starts getting softer over time or whatever. I think it will. I had some cat litter I put into a container, and then it got rained in and it made a good mud, and I didn't think about using it at the time, but that would have been a good idea. Okay, basically what I just did is I made sure there's enough in there that it's properly saturated. I'm probably going to have a little bit more water to this now. Let's see, where's my cup? It's not a cup really. Or bowl. And then the other thing I got is for tomorrow I bought some more castings. Loading, please wait. Some more casting refractory. And so I got this. I'm not going to use all of this, but I got enough so that I do get that in the mail tomorrow. I will be able to mix up and top off my foundry, and also, in addition to topping it off, I'm going to recoat the inside because there were some areas where it chipped away. Here's a piece of that. And I still haven't tried to reconstitute this in water and see what it'll do. If I can, then I might mix it in. But anyway, it's a pretty neat little picture. You can see, maybe you can see. I think on the 4K you'd be able to see all the little shiny areas where the glass bonded with the refractory. Perlite, if you didn't know, by the way, is basically just a puffy glass. Anyway, but that's in there for that. And then I'm going to set this off to the side. Splash some water in it, just a little bit. I put a little bit too much cat litter in it. Okay, so that's up to the top. Okay, so the thing we were working on, I think we're probably going to get started carving that plastic. So, oops, dropped my compass. I didn't bring out a better pencil. Just slightly frustrating, but anyway, I don't want to go back in right now. Let's put this up here for now, so it doesn't get lost. And this is the wooden one that we made. The other thing that I'm going to use this for is changing the position a little bit, because it's a little bit uncomfortable. I think I'd probably bring the pinky back a little bit more. So I'm going to start off by sizing this approximately for the holes. wish I could tell you where I got my compass, because it's a neat compass. But I got it at Goodwill, so it wouldn't help you. See, there's a brand name on it. It is Charvos. Charvos, Germany. And I probably got it for a couple bucks, and it probably cost about 10 times that. Very nice little compass. You know, waste as little of this as possible, and basically that means that I'm going to be going right up to the edge for our cutting. I don't need to have my mask on, but it's warm. Hold on. I need new graphite for this. Gonna get almost down to 30 tonight, I think it said. It's already getting cold. Too large. A little bit too large. I don't think it's gonna be that long. These fingers are okay. A little further from the edge. I'm gonna have to start this over, because I do want to have a good amount of material on the front edge there. I don't want to go too shy on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out one side of this, and then I'm going to flip it over before I do any kind of angle work on the side or chamfering or anything. I'm going to flip it over and then start on the other side. Get both sides cut out, and then stick them together with a screw, and then from there I'll be able to. After I get them the right size, then I'll be able to do all the chamfer work and everything, make sure that they are both going to go together to make a nice, solid piece. If you weren't watching the video last night, what I'm doing is I'm making a bottle opener that looks like a set of brass knuckles. Here a little bit further than on the wooden one, and also down enough so I have a good spacing between there. Hopefully that'll work out. like drawing on this paper. I don't know why. Anyway, I don't really have an eraser. What did I use yesterday? Using pliers as an eraser. Rubber. So those are going to be the finger holes. We'll see how those work. I'll probably drill those on the drill press and then work from there. So I have the centers marked anyway. Quarters butterfly bit in the drill press. And I'm going to use my XY because I have it. Hold on, I'll move the webcam so you can see this. In the way. That bag's in the way. We'll move the bag. There. So you'll have at least a decent view of what I'm doing, kind of, sort of. So the XY cross vise on here will hold the plastic. I think it's big enough. It is not big enough. Never mind. I'm going to set this plastic on top of the XY vise, and hopefully we'll have enough room. I did find my other chuck key too. I don't remember where it was. It was sitting with something. Oh, it was sitting on top of one of the buckets down on the bottom, which was frustrating because I thought I checked everywhere. But anyway, I found it and then I lost again. I do have two though, so it's not the end of the world. It's probably with my other tools somewhere in one of the containers. Organization, people. Priceless. I broke off a bit in here yesterday. The bits that I was using are really cheap. That's frustrating. Okay, so this bit is too long to use with this. To hand drill or not to hand drill? Centered. And I'm going to go really slow on this because this plastic can shatter. I thought it was the matte stuff, it's not. Yeah, this is the plastic that can crack. So I'm going to put my lab goggles on. Get this nice melted plastic smell. Seems to be drilling okay. It's getting kind of gummy. Getting a nice little plastic film there. I'm going to drill down in each hole until I get a good hole on the other side, and then I'll turn it over and drill through. That'll help stop it from cracking and also give me a good reference point and look nicer. Yeah, I know I said I was going to go slow. It's looking like I'm not going to need to. Yeah, this is drilling actually a lot nicer than I was expecting. So that's friendly. This plastic sheet at Tops, they have a bunch of scrap pieces. If you have a store near you, here in Sacramento, it's 50 cents a piece for the scrap. My battery's dying. I have another battery in here, I think. If not, I might have to go inside and grab it. I have the other battery in here. Okay. That worked nicer than I was expecting. Nice round hole. Yep. It says there's 1 bar left. There's not really 1 bar left. Thanks for sending 2 batteries, Dad. Oh, shoot. That happened. I started drilling through the hole on the wrong side. Well, we'll see. This is the pinky hole. I may be able to make use of this. Here we go. Some epoxy might fix that, or I might have to restart. I have enough material that if I have to restart, it's not the end of the world. And I even have some other pieces that if this one doesn't work out, I can go to. Let's see. If I start over, I'm going to restart because first we'll check these. These are actually at a good distance apart, I think. So I might pattern these onto it in a very rudimentary way. As in, I'm not going to remeasure it, but okay. So that's what I just did. I started cutting 3 holes below the other 3 holes. That'll give me enough room to play with and still do the other side. That hurt. Had a little bit of minor shattering that hit me in the face there. Good thing I'm wearing my glasses. If you do cut plexiglass as opposed to the thermoplastic that I thought this is also a thermoplexiglass, but it is not the soft gummy stuff that I thought I was getting when I bought this. If you get this, wear glasses when you're cutting it. This probably will, however, make a better mold piece. So some of these need to be a little bit larger. And this is not the best material to make larger holes from. But anyway, I will do what I can. It's almost large enough. That was almost large enough. I think he's the only one that it's perfect for. So it's looking like I'm going to need 1-inch round holes. Lots of little plastic shavings. There we go. Again, if you're watching live, thank you for watching live. Please like and subscribe so that you can see when I do my other videos. Okay, so I'm not going to do that, what I was just doing. I was trying to cut a larger hole, but no. I think what I'm going to do to cut a larger hole is use the scroll saw. So from there, I want even further back. I'm going to cut this in half here. I will also probably get my larger tooth scroll saw blade. Either one will probably work well for this material. I'll switch back, I think, to the smaller one when I start doing some detailed work. But you know what? If it shards, smaller shards are better. We'll use this one, the smaller. It's not the tiny tooth blade, but it is noticeably smaller than the other one. And in general, I adjust these the same way I'd adjust a jeweler's saw, by sound. It's a little loose. That sounds good. Sorry, I can't tell you how to do it. If you're wearing headphones, I recommend turning down your volume because I don't know how this is going to sound and it may not be fun. only did it cut pretty well, but it didn't melt almost at all on its way through. It's not shiny, but it doesn't need to be, and it got the job done. I'm now going to cut out the rest of the general shape so that I can trace it onto the other side and go from there. I'm going to let that cool for a little bit. But this is what we have so far. So I think what is I'm going to make the tab on the lower part of this side. The tab being the part that hooks underneath the cap for the bottle cap remover. And then side, I'm going to cut the top part without the tab on the other side on this piece of plastic. Because I didn't give myself enough room to do it on this one. I think... yeah, that should work pretty well. My belt's in. I also got these carving bits somewhere. I know I brought them in. Oh, they're in the big 5 bag. No, they're not in the big 5 bag. Here's the knife, though. Oh, this is going to turn into a knife, or maybe two, depending. That is a jackhammer bit that was broken, and I didn't break it, but I got it. Here's the other half of that. Nice, really hard carbon steel. Hopefully it's not tungsten carbide. If it is tungsten carbide, I am SOL, because I can't work that stuff. There's a really neat video. If I remember when I'm editing this, I'll link it in the description. A fellow YouTuber was trying to make a knife out of tungsten carbide, and he heated it up, got it white hot, or pretty darn close to white hot, hit it, and it shattered. If you don't know, tungsten melts at, I think, 6,300 Fahrenheit. It's something like that. It's pretty darn close. It is the hottest melting element. And then above that you have carbon, which doesn't melt, it sublimates. If you want to see it sublimating, buy dry ice. If you want to see it sublimating for a lot more expensive, buy a diamond and put it to an oxyacetylene torch. Graphite sublimates at, which graphite is another form of carbon. Carbon's a really amazing element. Sublimates at above 14,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why you can make an arc furnace with it. And I have a piece of tungsten on me pretty much all the time. My wedding band. Really nice, dense metal. It's one of my favorites. I wish I could work it. I don't have that stuff. Also, it can be up to 9 on the Mohs scale, which is the same as a sapphire. And it's 10 times less strong than diamond, or hard anyway. 10 times less hard than diamond. So I did some cleanup work on this. It's a lot more shiny now. Most of the grind marks are out of it. And the other thing that I did, and this is why I bought this little skinny rod. Hopefully it's small enough. I don't have a draw tool. Yeah, it is the perfect diameter to go through the hole in the side of this. So this is going to pin it on very nicely to the knife, which I just took out of the bag, I think, here. So, want to watch a rivet real quick? I don't think I have to do anything else to this that I can't do with this on it. So this goes on there. You may or may not be able to see through that hole. The webcam's kind of stupid, so I'll assume you can't and just tell you, but it is drilled through so that I can put a rivet through both of them, holding it together permanently. Slightly longer than this is wide. So that it'll flare on the side. The advantage of using that rod as opposed to a wire is I have a wire that was almost the right gauge, couldn't find it. This is even thinner, so if you want to see side by side, oops. This I would have had to upset quite a bit to get it to even sit kind of snugly in. I really didn't want to do that. Now I don't have to because I got a rod that's the right diameter, and I have a bit that fits perfectly the same size as this rod, so when I make other knives I'll be able to pin them as well. Don't bend. Forbid it. Hopefully it doesn't upset outside of the hole because I am cold forging this. I didn't want to scar this, but I mean... have a hardy hole on it? This might be too big. Not what this tool is meant for, by the way. The cheapo Harbor Freight diamond bit. Come on. Did I already start pinning this thing? Yeah, it's already started upsetting. Come on. Probably should have flared the steel, the hole in the steel a little bit, because if it was tighter than the bronze, which is likely, then we may have issues. I may have to turn this piece into scrap. Round 2. Well, we'll see. I might be able to straighten it out without too much fighting. I'm holding it up to the light right now and you can't see that. But I think I'm going to drill the hole in the knife a little bit larger. Oh. I don't know if these bits are going to get messed up from working on steel. These bits will get messed up from working on steel. I do have high-speed steel bits, so that was stupid. But anyway, now we know. Don't use these butterfly bits on steel. chuck for this. Let's see if we can get that more. Let me just straighten this back out. Learning experience, people. You know what I'm going to use this as? So, I just show you guys this. When I drilled this, I was expecting to have enough room for 2 pins. The problem is that the knife doesn't have enough steel at that angle, and there wasn't a good way to drill it. So what I did is I cut a channel, sorry, can't see it very well, but into the back of the knife for the spot where basically a fake pin is going to go through. No one will know but me. 1 pin will be strong enough to hold it. Anyway, now everyone will know because I just said it on the internet, but hey. Just by looking at it, it won't be up. What I'm doing right now is I'm adding a slight taper to the end of this to hopefully make it go through the hole easier. So hopefully that'll work. Let's see if I can even push it through this over here. Seems like it's gonna go through. This is really soft, right? So it'll be tight, but I think we'll make it work. Not really a good way to do this. I'm sure there is a good way to do this. I don't have a very good way of doing this. Already started bending again. We might have it further through this time though. Maybe if I hold it with the channel lock straight up and down, it might work better. Maybe. Not really. Sorry if you can't see very well. I hit a little bit, it bends a little bit, I hit it back. Repeat. To mar it as little as possible because every mar is something that I have to pick out later. Going a little bit at a time. It is a little bit better to start with something that's a little undersized, not oversized, because it does upset as it's going in. By upsetting, I mean it creates, here I'll show you in a sec, it makes the softer material towards the top bulge. So if you can see how it's thicker at the top, right, let's see, right there, then down the nail, that's upsetting, and it happens whenever you hammer any kind of metal really. I don't really want to try going at this from both sides, but that may end up happening. Hold on. I'll break it off here. If I need to drill it back through, I can. Okay, so I did break it off, so it's about halfway through right now on that side, and you can kind of see there where I hammered it flat. I'm going to grind that, and it should turn out shiny and look pretty much just like the rest of it. You may see a little bit of a seam later, but this is stuck on this side, and it's about to be on the other side. Piece that I broke off. For me to be able to hit it in to the hole that I already have from the other side. I'm going to try breaking a short piece here without cutting it. a little too short. I'll try using the one that I started with. That's way too marred up to use. I'm going to stick this in my casting bucket because I have a bunch of brass that's going to get recast. I bought this at with the bottle. Got it at a place in Sacramento here called Blue Collar Supply. They're pretty decent to do business with. It's not the cheapest place sometimes to buy scrap, but they do have it in volume if you need it in volume. And so that's why I chose to get it there. Unfortunately, they don't have any high carbon steel. They pretty much just have mild. He said it's very rare that they get high carbon. And so that kind of sucks, but I can still buy it other places. Anyway, but I'm going to start, I'm not going to take that directly and melt some and then put that into it so that it doesn't oxidize as readily. So I've made kind of a point on that. It's going to start setting up not setting up. It's going to start upsetting pretty much as soon as I push it through there. Starting to bend. Still a little loose and wobbly on there. I may have to drill this out and try again, which is unfortunate, but it's life. I say I'm going to put it aside and then I keep working on it. What can I say? So I'm thinking, where's my, okay. I'm thinking what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to draw with my compass here. I'm going to carve this. Yeah, it's not making almost any more. Please hold. I'm not sure why the graphite's not holding very well in this. So the tab part for the opener isn't going to be particularly wide. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's going to be almost straight across, maybe slightly rounded, and then it's going to come, the knuckle come around like this, and then this part going to continue, and then I think I'm going to bring it like that and then round it off, and then something similar on this side, something like that. I don't know if you can see that very well. This camera is not particularly great, because that's a changing my design up a little bit on here. But anyway, we'll do that this way. That's kind of the design I'm going to go with. We'll see. I just cooled my blade off significantly. That should help stop this from sticking right away. I might try the larger teeth. Look, I didn't almost cut my finger off just now. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, watch yesterday's video. Let's see, is this too far? Can you not see? You can't see what I'm doing. That's better. Sorry about that. I'll get the hang of this. Cuts faster, meaning it's in contact with the plastic for less time, heating up less, and melting less. so far, close. I should be able to clean up the difference on a sander. It's a little bit bigger, which kind of is to be expected because I traced onto it, but anyway, like I said, I can clean that up with a sander or a Dremel. As far as legality, I kind of talked about it in the other video. It's a gray area. I've seen purses with brass knuckle shaped handles that were made out of aluminum. And I'm sure, I think they could even come off. If you were to use this in self-defense, I wouldn't be held responsible. On you and needed it, but honestly, I would definitely never ever say that it's dual purpose to a cop or anyone else today. Plastic a lot better. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit.